Welcome back. It is still February 4th. I believe it is a Wednesday. Yes, 2015. Welcome back to the morning edition, I-24 News Morning Edition, the place you should be. Why? Because it is where we take a closer look today at Benjamin Netanyahu and why the elections in Israel, the upcoming elections, March 17, are being called the Bibi elections. Now, relations with Israel have not always been excellent, but I think any observer would argue they've never been worse. That's what Senator John McCain, Republican Senator John McCain, said yesterday in an interview to CNN. But it doesn't take a Republican senator to state the obvious, as it is no secret that President Obama and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu do not get along, as is the case in the latest spat between the two countries, or should we say between the two men, leading up to a March 3rd speech that Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to give in front of the U.S. Congress, a speech that was not coordinated with the White House and has caused the latest rift between the two countries, so to speak. We are joined in studio, and very happy to be joined in studio by, first of all, I-24 News diplomatic correspondent Tal Shalev, by senior political analyst, a person I'm very happy to have in the studio, Chemi Shalev, who happens to also be Tal Shalev's father. This is a family show.
Yes.
Now, both of you can stop blushing. And of course, by the co-chair, the Republicans abroad in Israel, Mr. Mark Zell. Mark, always a pleasure. Love the tie.
Yeah, good. Oh, fantastic.
Okay. Yes. And with us also in Jerusalem, in front of the Prime Minister's residence, is Gil Hoffman, senior political analyst of the Jerusalem Post. Now, to discuss this further, I just want to first take a look, and Chemi, I want to start with you. You are based in the United States. You cover Israeli-U.S. relations in depth. How damaging was this latest move by Prime Minister Netanyahu when it comes to the speech scheduled in front of the Congress, or is he being used as a pawn in a bipartisan game that is even above his head?
Well, first of all, he's a politician, and the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, is a politician, and they tend to use other people as pawns even when they respect them a lot. So I think both of them are utilizing each other. Look, it's been a bad 6 years in relations between the two leaders, between the President Obama and the Prime Minister. This is definitely a low point, and it's such a low point that it's not clear whether we haven't crossed a threshold, in the sense that there's some barrier that was broken in attitudes towards Israel in the American press and in Congress. There have been utterances and statements by Democratic senators and congressmen in the past months that I've not heard since I've been in the United States, in the sense that they've been openly critical more of John Boehner, of course, if they come from Democrats, but of Netanyahu as well. And I can tell you behind the scenes what they're not saying on record.
And that's what we really want to hear. Yeah.
It's really, there's a lot of resentment and bad feelings now towards the Prime Minister, towards the Republicans, of course, and mainly towards the connection that seems to exist between the Prime Minister and the Republicans. This, of course, it's not a new thing, and it reached a sort of height when Prime Minister Netanyahu was seen as backing Mitt Romney in the 2012 elections. But that was supposedly behind us because the elections are over. But this is now, it's pouring fat on the fire. And I think it's true to say that relationship between the country, I think Senator McCain was wrong. It's not the countries that are at a low point. But I don't think there have ever been two leaders, Israeli or American leaders, that have had such bad personal relations between them that really don't like each other, and they don't like each other so much that they can't hide it anymore.
Nobody even bothers to hide it anymore.
Right.
No, I completely agree. It's out there in the open, which it's a little disconcerting to us. I would say low folk, the little people in the world that world leaders end up this way. Tal Shalev, to you, is there even an understanding within the Netanyahu close circle of the possibility of this being damaging to future relations? Is there an understanding within his close circle of how bad this really is between him and the president?
I think that depends how close the circle you're talking about. And I think at least publicly or even not identified, but not in any briefings by the Prime Minister's office since this whole food burst into our lives, they have never acknowledged a mistake. And that would be a mistake from Netanyahu's electoral point of view. It's not a right move for him electoral-wise and thinking about the elections. From Netanyahu's point of view, everything, all the talking points coming out of there have been why this is an important move, why this is a crucial move, why this is the move that Netanyahu has to do to protect Israel's interests. And on the contrary, they're continuing actually, the situation has only escalated because now they're briefing, the Israeli officials are briefing with real details against the Iran nuclear deal. They're briefing again against Obama. In the past few days, we've had a few reports of Israeli officials briefing Israeli journalists about how Obama is succumbing to the Iranian demands in the nuclear negotiations and concern in Jerusalem. So actually, the situation has only escalated, and Netanyahu, from his part, doesn't seem to be understanding, at least publicly, or at least willing to acknowledge the mistake. But he has been engaged in a lot of talks over trying to calm down the Democrats, trying to calm down this resentment that he has created in the Congress.
No, I'm entirely so. I have to stop and say.
That was an excellent thing.
I was about to say, Chemi, I was like, aren't you proud? I'm so proud of Tal. But moving along, Gil Hoffman in Jerusalem, still with us in front of the Prime Minister's residence. And I'm touching with you constantly in the Israeli public narrative. And I'm wondering out loud with you, it seems, though, that whenever it is Bibi versus the world or Benjamin Netanyahu versus the American president, it actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, plays into the hands of the Benjamin Netanyahu camp, as if, it sells in a different way. It seems to play within the Israeli society as if he's protecting Israel against everybody else. Am I correct in saying that?
The polls definitely show that you're absolutely right, Lucy. If you go back over the last 6 years, there's been no one in the world who has helped Netanyahu politically more than Barack Obama. Every time there's been any kind of confrontation between the Netanyahu and Obama administrations, it has helped Netanyahu out politically. If Barack Obama wants to ensure that Netanyahu will not be reelected, he should stop dealing with anything Middle East related between now and the election, or just crawl under a rock if the President of the United States can do that for the next 6 weeks.
Right.
And it's different with Obama than it was with previous presidents. When there is an American president who is seen as pro-Israel by the Israeli population, and he has a fight with the Prime Minister of Israel, the people of Israel side with the leader of the free world against their own leader, historically.
Right.
But when there's a confrontation between a president of the United States who, rightly or wrongly, is seen as hostile, the people of Israel side with their leader, and that is what has happened with Obama and Netanyahu. I think it'll be interesting to see if Hillary Clinton does come to power and is seen as pro-Israel, whether when she fights with Netanyahu, and she will, whether the people of Israel will end up siding with her.
Now, one second. First of all, Gil, I'm not going to call you Barak Ravid, but I'm Yael. That said,
sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It's a family moment here.
I agree with Gil that the Israeli public doesn't like that it does have a great amount of hostility towards President Obama, but I also think that the Israeli public does not like to have a big, an ongoing fight with the United States. And after 6 years that this has been going on, and there have been questions about Netanyahu's conduct in this relationship, and we're hearing even Fox News criticize his conduct in this recent Bibi Congress gate. So I do think that the Israeli public does not like it when their leaders do not get along with the United States. I do think that this does damage Netanyahu in some point, but it could be something that we will be seeing upon. And also, his opponents are not playing, his rivals are not playing on it full scale. We did not hear a full-scale attack, neither from Herzog or Livni, really a really strong attack against Netanyahu the way he's been conducting the United States relation.
I mean, I think it's safe to say, and maybe your father, I'm not going to call you your father, maybe Chemi can correct me if I'm wrong, that we have not heard any strong statements from the other side on anything. I mean, I'm yet to see, the other side, the Labour parties, the left, whatever's left of the left, come out with any kind of strong agenda other than Bibi must be replaced.
Well, that's true. I think they've been very busy with themselves, and I think there's still a lot of turmoil inside the Labour Party. And I think that they have framed this elections, as you said, as the Bibi elections, and they have yet to get their act together. I think they're also afraid of trying to capitalize on this specific incident because they may perceive the situation to be, like Gil said, that this will harm them if they are seen to be taking Obama's side. But I think, first of all, there are historical precedents where a confrontation with the president who was seen as not friendly to Israel, did not help the prime minister. I'm talking about the 1992 elections. Yitzhak Shamir went face-to-face with President George Bush Sr., who was not seen as very friendly to Israel. In fact, he had hostile statements which are way more confrontational than Obama.
Pick up the phone.
And this is seen as one of the factors that led to Yitzhak Shamir's defeat in 1992 against Yitzhak Rabin. And I also want to say that I think it's true, what Gil said is true up to a point. There comes a point when if this March 3rd speech will be a complete fiasco, if there'll be a walkout, which I think is, it's unheard of, and if it's enveloped by an atmosphere of controversy, I'm not sure that the Israelis will view this as another time when Netanyahu is, fighting for Israel against the president. He may cross a line. I think even he is not as sure as he was that this is an electoral advantage for him as he was when he agreed to do the speech.